In recent years, the geopolitical landscape has undergone a seismic shift. Central to this transformation is the deepening partnership between China and Russia, two global powers who have not only resisted Western influence, but have also found ways to circumvent economic sanctions imposed by the United States and the European Union. These sanctions, primarily aimed at isolating Russia following its 2014 annexation of Crimea and more recently the 2022 invasion of Ukraine, have instead strengthened the economic and political ties between Moscow and Beijing. This collaboration has not only weakened the impact of Western sanctions, but has also paved the way for a new geopolitical order that challenges the West's long-standing dominance. In this video, we'll dive deep into how China and Russia are strategically working together to undermine Western sanctions, their economic and geopolitical strategies, and what this means for the future of global power dynamics. Western sanctions have long been a tool for the US and its allies to enforce foreign policy objectives. In the case of Russia, sanctions have been used to punish the country for its aggressive actions in Ukraine, starting with the annexation of Crimea in 2014 and escalating after Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022. These sanctions targeted critical sectors of Russia's economy, including energy, defense, and finance, with the goal of crippling its economic capabilities and isolating it on the world stage. China, too, has faced its share of Western economic pressure, albeit in a more indirect manner. Tensions between China and the US have grown significantly over issues such as human rights in Hong Kong and Xinjiang, trade imbalances, and China's assertive stance in the South China Sea. While direct sanctions on China have been limited compared to Russia, the US has imposed tariffs, export controls, and restrictions on key Chinese technology companies such as Huawei. The overarching goal has been to limit China's technological and economic rise. However, instead of crippling these powers, Western sanctions have pushed Russia and China closer together, creating a formidable partnership that is actively undermining the effectiveness of sanctions and shifting global power dynamics. The partnership between Russia and China has evolved significantly over the past decade, but it has accelerated since the imposition of Western sanctions on Russia. Both nations see themselves as counterweights to Western hegemony and have found common ground in their opposition to what they view as Western interference in their domestic and regional affairs. One of the key areas of cooperation between Russia and China is in trade, particularly in energy. Russia, one of the world's largest producers of oil and natural gas, has increasingly turned to China as a primary market for its energy exports in the wake of European sanctions. In 2023 alone, China was responsible for nearly 90% of Russia's imports of goods that were under Western export controls. This includes everything from semiconductors to military equipment, which has allowed Russia to maintain its economic and military capabilities despite sanctions. China, in turn, benefits from a steady supply of Russian energy, particularly natural gas and oil, at discounted prices, as well as increased access to Russian technology and military cooperation. This energy partnership has been crucial for both countries, as it helps Russia bypass Western markets, while providing China with the resources it needs to sustain its industrial growth. One of the key ways that Russia and China have successfully circumvented Western sanctions is through the development of alternative financial systems. The dominance of the US dollar and Western financial institutions, such as the SWIFT international payment system, has long been a source of frustration for Russia and China. However, in recent years, both countries have taken steps to reduce their reliance on these systems. For Russia, the development of the SPFS, System for Transfer of Financial Messages, a homegrown alternative to SWIFT, has allowed it to continue conducting financial transactions despite being cut off from the global financial system. SPFS has been integrated into Russia's domestic economy and has also been connected to China's CIPs, cross-border interbank payment system, further strengthening the financial ties between the two nations. In addition, both Russia and China have been working to promote the use of their local currencies, the ruble and yuan, in bilateral trade. By reducing their dependence on the US dollar, they are insulating themselves from the effects of Western financial sanctions. The BRICS-Pay app, launched as part of the BRICS financial integration strategy, is another key tool that allows transactions in multiple non-dollar currencies, reducing the impact of dollar-based sanctions. Energy is perhaps the most critical area where China and Russia's cooperation has undermined Western sanctions. With Russia being one of the largest exporters of energy and China one of the biggest consumers, the two countries have developed a symbiotic relationship that bypasses Western markets. When Europe imposed sanctions on Russian energy following the invasion of Ukraine, Russia responded by redirecting its oil and gas exports to China. In 2024, China became Russia's largest energy customer, importing nearly 43% of Russia's oil. This energy trade has allowed Russia to sustain its economy and avoid the full brunt of Western sanctions. At the same time, this growing energy relationship has significantly reduced the West's leverage over global energy markets. By creating a parallel energy trading system within the BRICS framework, China and Russia are not only insulating themselves from sanctions, but also setting the stage for a new energy order, one where Western control is diminished. Another key area where China and Russia have circumvented Western sanctions is in the realm of technology and military cooperation. Western sanctions have targeted Russia's access to high-tech goods, particularly semiconductors, microchips, and advanced military equipment. However, China has stepped in to fill the gap, providing Russia with the critical technology it needs to maintain its military capabilities. Chinese companies have been instrumental in supplying Russia with semiconductors, machine tools, and telecommunications equipment, much of which falls under the category of dual-use goods, meaning they have both civilian and military applications. This cooperation has allowed Russia to continue developing advanced weapon systems and to maintain its military presence in Ukraine, despite Western efforts to degrade its war capabilities. Moreover, China and Russia's joint military exercises, particularly in the South China Sea and Eastern Europe, have demonstrated the depth of their military cooperation. These exercises serve as a message to the West that both nations are prepared to challenge Western military dominance, particularly in their respective regions. The growing partnership between China and Russia represents a significant geopolitical shift, one that challenges the post-World War II global order dominated by the US and its allies. Through their cooperation in trade, finance, energy, and military technology, China and Russia have not only circumvented Western sanctions, but have also set the stage for a multipolar world, a world where Western hegemony is increasingly challenged by emerging powers. BRICS, with China and Russia at its core, is actively working to create alternatives to Western-dominated institutions, such as the IMF and the World Bank. By offering new financial, energy, and trade systems, BRICS aims to shift the balance of power from the West to a more equitable global governance system. While the US and Europe remain formidable powers, the rise of China and Russia, and their ability to circumvent Western sanctions, signals that the days of Western dominance may be numbered. As the global economy becomes more interconnected and less reliant on Western systems, the future of global power lies in the hands of those who can adapt to this new reality. In conclusion, the growing alliance between China and Russia has not only demolished Western sanctions, but has also reshaped the global power structure. By building alternative financial systems, deepening energy cooperation, and advancing military ties, these two nations are challenging the long-standing dominance of the West. The question now is whether the West can adapt to this new geopolitical landscape, or whether China and Russia will continue to erode their influence in the years to come. What do you think about this geopolitical shift? Could this partnership between China and Russia truly signal the end of Western dominance? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this analysis insightful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth geopolitical content.